All right, and boom, we're live. MMA Complete Podcast, episode 70. Today is October 28th. October 28th. Pretty big podcast we got this week. Obviously, with the two pay-per-views coming up in the next 2 weekends, two of the most star-studded pay-per-views of the year. We have a little bit of an interesting show because if you have been following us, which we have podcasts every Thursday night, 7 p.m., we are pretty active on Twitter at complete_MMA, and we live stream every single pay-per-view. No difference for the next 2 weeks. UFC 267 will be going live at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the live stream I want to start around 11 a.m. because the prelims are actually chock full of pretty good fights. So UFC 267 live stream is going to be 11 a.m. Main card starts at 2, and there's 6 fights, so it'll probably honestly go to like 6 p.m. So make sure you check out the UFC 267 live stream from MMA Complete Podcast, wherever you're watching this now, whether it be Fans Only Sports Facebook, Fans Only Sports Twitter. You can also go follow our YouTube page, MMA Complete Podcast. You can go follow us on our Twitter at complete_MMA, where we will be live streaming from that platform as well. We're also going to be live streaming UFC 268, which is next weekend, November 6th. That pay-per-view is a regular time of the main card starts at 10, and we're going to be going live right around 10. Unfortunately, I got to work that day, so we usually start at the prelims, but I'm not going to be able to do that this time. So the live stream UFC 268 will be sometime around 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time all the way to 1 o'clock in the morning. So today, what I wanted to do is kind of brush over what we saw last weekend with the Paulo Costa Marvin Vettori fight and all the extra stuff that happened with that. And then after that, we're going to go right into UFC 267 and 268, which I have outlined behind me, and we're going to be getting into the pod bet, as we call it in MMA Complete. And the pod bet's going to be interesting this week. We got 2 cards. We're gonna probably do a pod bet for each card and then one combined. And because we're gonna have so many options, the pod bet should hit this week because we're only gonna do 4 or 5, and it's gonna be the 4 or 5 that we are confident in. So I will be joined by co-host Austin Garvey shortly, but until I do that, I'm gonna kind of just go over a little of the backstory of last week and the 2 pay-per-views we got coming up. Again, 2 of the most hyped pay-per-views of the year. But before we do that, take a word from our sponsors, our parent company, Fans Only Sports. Go check them out at fansonlysports.com, Fans Only Sports Facebook. We've been broadcasting a lot of New England football, soccer, and baseball games throughout the last couple months. So go check them out. And quick commercial break. We'll get right back to pod bets. All right, fansonlysports.com, Fans Only Sports on Facebook. Go check them out. Thank you again for being the platform. We've been doing MMA Complete Podcast this is episode 70, so almost a year and a half already. All right, let's dive right into it. Last week we saw a really great main event, originally scheduled for middleweight, ended up taking place at light heavyweight, 205 pounds, between Paulo Costa and Marvin Vettori. Marvin Vettori was the winner by unanimous decision in a fight that was pretty damn electric, and surprising. So the biggest thing coming into this fight was that Paulo Costa was in jeopardy of not making weight, and therefore they ended up switching the weight around a couple times. Originally 195, ended up being 205 at the day of the weigh-ins. And Paulo Costa was obviously overweight, and thus there was questions around, a lot of different things, from his cardio to how he'd been living and if he'd been training, the same that we would expect from a top 5 middleweight contender, and more on that after. But Paulo Costa went all 5 rounds, and there was times where excuse me. There was times where after the first round, you really didn't think that he would be able to make it all 5 because he was winded, he was getting outboxed, and then he came back in rounds 2 and 3 and really put some big shots onto Marvin Vettori with a couple head kicks, a lot of bruising punches, and just an overall good fight. But it was Marvin Vettori's day. Paulo Costa even managed to take down Marvin Vettori, which is no easy feat. But Marvin Vettori was, from starting bell to end, just the better fighter. He was more conditioned. He landed a lot more strikes. I believe he did have more control time at the end of the fight as well. They both only had 1 takedown, but Marvin Vettori had 200 total strikes landed to 172 by Costa, 190 to 163 significance. And I mean, it was a 49-46 victory, decision, I should say. But Paulo Costa definitely could have taken 2 rounds. I think there was a lot of bad judgment on him, or bad reputation on him before the fight, and that may have caused maybe some leeway in favor of Marvin Vettori. But at the end of the day, Marvin Vettori won clearly. So whether he won 50-45 or 47-46, it didn't matter. Vettori was the definite winner. Some comments after the fight are definitely worth noting. In Dana White's press conference after the fight night, a question was imposed to him by a reporter saying, what's Paulo Costa's future? Does he remain at middleweight or does he go to light heavyweight? And Dana White was very adamant and very clear when he said that Paulo Costa will be at light heavyweight from now on. He said that the UFC definitely does not like to make that judgment and impose that on fighters, but in this case, in the surrounding events that happened before the fight, Paulo Costa will be fighting at light heavyweight from now on. That was directly from Dana White, and it's interesting. It's very interesting. I'd be intrigued to see who Costa's first fight at light heavyweight is, and if he will go right into the top 10, which I believe he will. I believe he would fight someone at the top 10. Maybe someone of the caliber of, well, we're going to see a top 10 fight this weekend at UFC 267, which we will be getting to soon, that being Ankalaev versus Ozdemir. But maybe the loser of that gets to fight Paulo Costa. I'd like him to fight either one of them. And either way, Paulo Costa only really fights once a year, so it probably won't be until 2022, if not later. But that's neither here nor there. Congrats to Marvin Vettori, now getting moved up to, I believe he should be number 2 in the middleweight rankings, although he did just lose to Adesanya a couple months ago, so he definitely needs another win or 2 before he gets a rematch for the title. Middleweight Marvin Vettori is number 2. Paulo Costa drops 3 spots to number 5. So you got Whitaker, Vettori, Cannonier, Brunson, Costa in the middleweight rankings. And with names such as Nikita Krylov and Johnny Walker rounding out the top 10 of the light heavyweight division, I wouldn't be shocked to see Paulo Costa get thrown right into like number 7 or 8 for the light heavyweight rankings. That being said, he will need to fight someone, just like John Jones would need to fight someone in the heavyweight division before he gets put in the rankings, but that's a completely different story. So what we're going to do now, get all that preamble out of the way, is go into UFC 267 and 268 talk. Once Austin gets here, we'll be going more over the actual pod bets, but for right now, I'm going to kind of outline each of the fights. There is obviously, I want to say in 267, we have a total of 12 fights. 268 so far announced for 268. We have 5 on the main card, 3 on the prelims, and 5 more on the early prelims, making a 13-fight card. So 25 fights in 2 weeks. And of note of star power for the 2 pay-per-views, I have written down each pay-per-view's main attractive fights, and you have 7 for 267 and 7 as well for 268. So we have 14 fights potentially to put on pod bet, 14 fights that we will be making rulings, and we will be talking about what we think will happen. But the key that we've been doing with the pod bets, and if you haven't seen the UFC 266 live stream, it's definitely worth checking out, or the podcast beforehand, which you can find at MMA Complete Podcast YouTube page. But we did very well on our pod bets. We were flawless. We got every single pick right, and we got a lot of methods right as well. And me and Austin made out with a really great payday, hoping to repeat the success of that for 267 and 268. So what we're going to do is go over each of the fights. I'm going to say how I think they're going to win. I'm going to say if they're over under, and I'm going to say who's going to win. And at the end of the hour podcast, we're going to put it all together, and we're going to take maybe 3 or 4 from each pay-per-view, and then 4 or 5 in total, and say which ones are the slam dunk picks that we will put money on. And I don't know, for those of you watching, you might be able to get a payday just like we probably will going into this weekend and next weekend. For that, we're going to take another quick commercial break. We will be right back with the pod bets. All right, and we're back. Quick little sponsor from MMA Complete. As of right now, I'm trying to find the over-unders for these fights. I recently just got a new phone, so the app I usually use for the odds and everything I don't have installed yet, which is a shame because they're not giving me over-unders. Over-unders are actually one of the, I don't want to say least used, but underrated bets for UFC. A lot of times they're honestly easier to bet on and get right than actual money line fights. But once Austin gets here, we'll be able to check into that a little easier. So, real quick, I'm going to go over my picks. Hopefully he'll be there. He will be here soon enough that he can kind of rebuttal me and say his own picks, but for the most part, I do know who he's picking for each fight. UFC 267, 6-fight main card, 3-fight prelim. Or, excuse me, I think it's 6-fight main card, 5-fight prelim. To end the prelims, we have Amanda Ribas versus Verna Jandiroba in a fight that I do believe the over is going to be 2.5, and I think it'll be over. I think it will be a decision. And I actually have Amanda Ribas. I think Amanda Ribas' boxing is going to be too much for Verna Jandiroba. We saw in her last fight, Jandiroba kind of got bloodied up, and she ended up making the decision, which was crazy. But it's going to be another tough fight, and Amanda Ribas is a veteran of the sport, and I think that once she gets back into her top 5 spot in the women's bantamweight division, she will start to lose more. But for right now, Amanda Ribas is well and above the competition she's been fighting lately, and I think Verna Jandiroba is no different. Now we get into the main card. We got to start a light heavyweight bout between Magomed Ankalaev and Volkan Ozdemir. Again, this is a 3-round fight, and I would assume I'm going to stop saying the over-unders because I'm going to wait until I get confirmation of them. But I have Volkan Ozdemir in this fight, and I know Austin has Magomed Ankalaev. So this is one of the fights that we won't put on the pod bet. I think that Ozdemir's boxing and his power is going to be too much for Magomed Ankalaev. I don't really want to speak for Austin, but I do think that Magomed Ankalaev belongs to one of the toughest training camps in the world. Khabib's Dagestani buddies and wrestling camp over there, and Magomed Ankalaev not only has vicious power, but he has great wrestling that should be better than Volkan Ozdemir's. I just think that Ozdemir is a top 5 fighter in the light heavyweight division, and if he catches Ankalaev the right way, he will knock him out. And I would honestly be in favor of taking the under in this fight because of both guys' finishing ability, whether it be either man by standing knockout or Magomed Ankalaev by submission or ground and pound, honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and take Ozdemir. Next fight is another disagreement that me and Austin have. So middleweight bout between Li Jingliang, who is a 13th ranked middleweight in the world, and the returning Khamzat Chimaev, who we have not seen in over a year. We last saw in September of 2020 when he knocked out Joe Mearshart. I'm taking Li Jingliang. This is not the first time I've bet against Chimaev, and if Chimaev loses, it will not be the first time I lose money on betting against Khamzat Chimaev. But Li Jingliang has been much more active. He has better competition, and he's an overall tough as fuck guy. And I don't see Khamzat Chimaev coming into this fight, and after such a long layoff, and then also fighting his toughest opponent to date, it's going to be a really tough battle for Chimaev. I think this fight goes the distance as well. I think both of these guys are pretty tough, although we haven't seen how tough Chimaev is when it comes to him being taking damage from an opponent, because his 3 fights in the UFC, he's been absolutely dominant and he hasn't taken any damage. So it will be up to Chimaev to see how much abuse he can take, but if he can take what I think he's able to, I think this fight will go to a decision, but I am going to be taking Li Jingliang. Then we have the heavyweight fight between Marcin Tybura and Alexander Volkov. This is a very interesting fight. So Alexander Volkov is ranked, I believe, number 5 in the heavyweight division right now. He's ranked number 5, Marcin Tybura number 8. Alexander Volkov 6'7", Marcin Tybura 6'4", 6'3". Yeah, but only a 2-inch reach advantage for Volkov, which is weird because Volkov usually has a much bigger reach advantage. And I don't think that'll play too much of a factor. I think both these guys are going to just stand and bang. But Marcin Tybura has been on a really good win streak lately. He's had a 4-fight win streak. Alexander Volkov is on a 2-fight losing streak. So Volkov's going to really look to get out of that losing streak and cement his name in the top 5, where I think a lot of people, including some of us at MMA Complete, don't really see him at anymore. So it's a really close fight. I think it is a fight that also goes the distance. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I really am confident in taking one side over the other. I think Marcin Tybura has a little bit better repertoire on the ground, although neither of these guys are truly, truly skilled and overly matched on the ground. But Marcin Tybura might be a little bit, I don't want to say better of a fighter, but he's on a roll. He's a little bit smarter on the ground, and Alexander Volkov has been taking a lot of damage in his last couple fights.
I got the bet. I got the bet.
What bet?
The guaranteed 100%. 100%. There's no way this loses. This pick.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm waiting for it to load. But I thought it over all day. At work. I don't know if I'm in this or not. But Piotr Jan. Alright. Amanda Ribas is a lock. Mortal lock.
Yep.
Of the year.
I was already talking about how I picked her.
Yeah. Alexander Volkov.
I was just talking. I'm picking Tibura.
You're picking Tibura at +2.
We have a lot of differences in this card, by the way. I'm pretty sure you like Ankalaev. I like Ozdemir. You like Kamaev. I like Jingliang. And if you take Volkov, I like Tibura. So we have a lot of differences.
Yeah, but you're going for Tibura. +2 for yeah. I mean, you can hope and pray, but Alexander Volkov is a beast, bro. And Ankalaev, dude, at -310, like, it's a lock.
So what's your parlay? You said Jan. You
said
Jan. Volkov. You said Ribas.
Jan, Ankalaev, Ribas. That's the lock.
Jan, Ankalaev, Ribas. I don't hate that parlay at all. Ankalaev and Ozdemir is definitely the closest fight I see on this card.
Plus
besides maybe the main event.
I can't say it, but it's not like it really not. It's not the best number in the world. You can write down the number. You can write the numbers down. It's interesting though is when you get to next week.
Well, I was just finishing up 267 anyway.
So let me say some shit on 267.
Go for it. Write your little initial under who you think's gonna win.
Okay. You didn't do this yet.
Yeah, I'm going from the bottom up.
Yeah. All right. Well. Okay. For Austin. Ozdemir. Like, why do you think Ozdemir?
I think Ozdemir knocks out Ankalaev.
You think he takes him to the ground?
No, I think he stands the whole time. Ankalaev definitely is the better on the ground, but I think that Ozdemir catches him and knocks him out.
Kamaev too, man.
If it goes to a distance, I can see Ankalaev winning if he has a couple takedowns. But
why can't you bet on Kamaev? What the fuck's going on? I don't know. You can't even pick him. Is that fight off? Don't do it.
No, it's not off.
No?
I mean, not that I've heard. The press conference went down yesterday, and they had their little stare down and talk. And
okay.
I haven't seen anything on it.
I think I got confused because I think if there was to be an upset, if there is an upset, dude, Volkov loses.
As far as odds go?
As far as odds go that I've seen.
I would throw Teixeira in that conversation too, because Teixeira is a pretty decent underdog.
Oh no! Oh yeah. Well, I'm not. I'm on Blackowitz the whole way. Like right. I'm not even really counting that. But I know that we see different, so I didn't even include that on the pod bet. But it's like one of those things. Like you want to see it happen. Like you want to see him win, but he ain't winning.
This is honestly maybe the biggest discrepancy we've ever had as far as betting on a pod bet on a UFC card goes. You are taking Tibura?
I'm taking Tibura, but I ain't betting on him. Okay. Because I want to pick an upset. There's going to be an upset on this card. There's too many good fighters for there not to be an upset. Mm-hmm. And I'm picking him for the upset.
So
Kamaev.
So I haven't... All right, this is good. So you picked Ribas, Ankalaev, Kamaev, and Tibura. We haven't talked about Makhachev, Hooker yet. We're both on Makhachev, though. Absolutely both taking Makhachev. Yeah. And then Petr Yan, Corey Sandhagen. My thought process on this fight has kind of altered a little bit. I think Corey Sandhagen has a really good shot, but I'm not wavering from Petr Yan.
You know, I'm going to do a sprinkle parlay on this. Not a sprinkle parlay, but I think we could come to
I think Sandhagen by decision if he's going to win.
Yeah, I think we could come to an agreement on a parlay where there's some winners and some losers. Mm-hmm. And maybe a parlay with a sneaky underdog. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know, do a pod bet parlay, but a pod sneaky.
After we're all set with this, I just got my new phone, so I don't have the Sportsbook app, so I'm going to need your help with the over-unders. Because I've been trying to find the over-unders all day. But we can finish this up first.
Yeah.
So I have Petr Yan winning by... I want to say knockout. It might be a decision. I do give Sandhagen a good chance to win by decision. I'm at 65-35. And if you asked me last week, I would have said like 75-25.
Yeah. If I had a lot of money, I'd be putting a lot of money on this card, just like sprinkling it everywhere. But I don't have a lot of
This card's tricky, man. I would rather bet on 268. I'm a lot more confident on those fights, but we'll get into that in a second.
No, and are we doing? Oh, man, this is gonna be a lot of potted and betting. Dude, the parlay. Oh, it's just insane. Like I got Burgos as a lock next week, and like
Me too.
he's not even a big name. I just know he's gonna win, so I'm gonna bet on him. Frankie Edgar's sneaky too. All right, never mind. Regardless, that stare down that they had, Jan and Sandhagen. Yeah, Jan kind of he did like a flinch thing. Like he kind of like tried to get him to jump.
Sandhagen didn't
Nothing.
move.
Nothing. That is confidence. That's confidence.
I don't think
right
that's.
there.
I
No,
think
but
that's
it says
worthy
something.
of saying something, but I don't think that's at the end of the day going to make a shit ton of difference.
Dude.
I will say Sandhagen's much bigger. That's the bigger. That's the biggest thing.
Younger. And
No. Piotr Jan 28, Corey Sandhagen 29. 3-inch reach advantage for Sandhagen.
and I'm gonna be putting Blackwoods on some parlays, man. I mean, shit.
So I'm also taking Piotr Jan. I'm taking Glover Teixeira. I've been talking about that for the last couple weeks. I think Glover Teixeira is going to be able to take down Blachowicz and have his way with him. I think that he submits Blachowicz in like the third round. I'm definitely putting a bet. I'm definitely betting on Teixeira by submission and Blachowicz by knockout.
I think Blackwoods just knocks him out. And I think Blackwoods' ground game, underrated.
It's a good
He's
ground
heavy
game.
too.
But if you're basing that all on his fight with Adesanya,
No, I'm not basing it all on Adesanya. No way.
it's like chess. It's like checkers to chess.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna. It's not a test, dude. He's the champion.
It's his biggest test as champion.
It's his. I feel like that's like every time, every fight is. You could say that, but I mean, like, this guy's 41. Like, this has he
42. I think he just turned 42.
42, 40.
Blackwoods is 39.
42. I mean,
Oh, by the way, you left your piece here. You know that?
yeah, I know. I bought a new one.
Yeah, I figured.
Um,
All right, so
it's a challenger going up against a champion. Always bet with
we
the
agree
champion.
on Jan Makhachev and Rivas.
And
We
Tabura.
kind of agree on Tabura, although you don't love Tabura.
I don't really like him, but I mean,
I'm on the
I'm
same
gonna go
page
with
as you.
I'm gonna go with what the book says, dude.
I'm on the
I ain't
same
putting
page
him on.
as you.
I'm not
Yeah.
putting him on the pod bet, bro.
No, me neither. I don't want to touch. There's a couple fights I don't want to touch. Like Ankalaev Ozdemir, I don't want to touch because either one of them could win. I'm like 52% Ozdemir, 48% Ankalaev. Like I'm that fucking close. Blackwoods Teixeira, I really don't want to touch either.
Can we
Except
look
by
up
methods.
that fight? Can we look up the votes on that fight on that website? What the fuck's it called? Analogy.
What?
And the
Do you want to do it right now?
yeah, because it's interesting to see like what people are betting on, like who people are picking, like for Ankalaev Ozdemir.
I would say a lot. I mean, Ankalaev is my favorite.
What's that? Oh, Tapology. Shout out Tapology. It's just interesting. What do you think? So, how do you think Cabura wins?
I think that fight is going to a decision either way. But
Okay.
I mean, it's heavyweight, so either guy can. I don't know where to go. I've never looked up the picks on.
Oh no.
But I think that Tabura is able to take down Volkov and get some points off that too.
Let's see. What do you think? Go, man. How do you look?
I don't know. I've never done this.
I know.
We can look at this another time. We can look at this after.
KO, yeah, whatever. Yeah, tell the tape. It isn't like He's such a big underdog. Like,
I'm
what is
taking
he?
a couple underdogs on this card, which is weird because we took all favorites on the last card.
I know.
But
that
that
really never.
I
Oh
like
shit!
Teixeira.
There it is.
I like Teixeira, Tabura, Jingliang, Ozdemir. Those are all underdogs.
59% by knockout for Ankalaev. 4% by submission. That ain't gonna happen. 31% by decision. Ozdemir 46% by knockout. 46, but 91% have Ankalaev winning the fight versus 9%. So
Yeah, everybody voting up for Ankalaev. Makes sense because his odds are.
his odds
huge.
are. I mean, the guy is good on the ground. He did lose to Paul Craig, but I mean, like it's so early on in his career. I mean, Amanda Ribas. People 76% going with Ribas, 26% going with Jandiroba. I don't even know who Jandiroba is. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, Verna Jandiroba. We saw her last fight was, I believe, UFC 264.
Okay.
Here, I'll pull it up. I remember she almost got knocked the fuck out in the first round, and then she actually made it like all the way through, which was kind of badass. But at the same time, she got fucked up.
Jandiroba you're talking about? Okay, so
she lost to Mackenzie Dern December 2020. She actually did have a win against a no-namer in June. She knocked her out. All right, so
82% going with Volkov, 18% going with Tabura. I'm not saying these people know what the fuck they're talking about, but it's just a good reference.
Sure.
Yeah. So like, what do you think? What do you want for this?
So I was thinking
This pod bet.
Well,
let's just
first
us
of all-
two again. Just
Right.
us two.
Right, it is.
So
So
people
first of
don't
all,
learn.
I want to get all of our picks out first. I want to do 268 too, and then after that, like there's a couple fights
My
that
brain's gonna be everywhere though. I'm gonna be like,
well, there's a couple. We're gonna see like what fights stand out. Like already we have Amanda Ribas and Islam Makhachev. Like we're definitely putting them on the pot bet. You know what I mean? And then if we have two more over here, and we have four concrete bets. No, I don't. You go ahead. You should absolutely throw them on yours. No. But if we have two or three more on 268, which I think we will, then we're all set on the pot bet. We have five.
Here we go.
All right, Shabazian versus Imavov.
Underdog right now.
Edmund Shabazian is the underdog.
It's weird though. Is he a hype train because of the name?
Who, Edmund Shabazian?
Yeah. Is he a hype train?
Possibly. I mean, he has lost 2 fights in a row, but he started off 12-0, and he started off 12-0, but he's lost to Jack Hermanson and Derek Brunson, which are 2 pretty fucking great losses. You know what I mean? And then you got Nasruddin Imavov, who's 10-3, and
He's only 23.
Yeah, Shabazian's
Sorry to
23
cut you
years
off,
old.
but that surprises me.
Nasruddin Imavov, who I don't believe he has fought in the UFC. I thought this was his UFC debut. So he beat Ian Heinisch and he lost to Phil Haas. And he beat Jordan Williams. He beat Ian Heinisch by second round knockout in July. And I think that's really the biggest part of Imavov's aura, if you will. Phil Haas beat him by decision 3 rounds. And it was significant strikes. Imavov. Oh, okay. So Phil Haas had 4 takedowns and more total strikes. So he kind of just took him to the ground and controlled him, which Shabazian's not really going to do.
I'm listening. I'm just trying to think to the future.
I have Shabazian. I think it's going to be a good fight. I don't have it as a lock.
I don't have it as a lock
But
either.
as Shabazian is the underdog, I think it is interesting to definitely put him on some parlays just for the numbers' sake.
You're thinking. I like it. What is also? It's interesting. You can bet on Poirier and Oliveira right now. So, do we make a lock bet for December.
If we're
for
doing
fight.
that, if we're adding more cards to this than just these two, we should put Max Holloway on there. Just saying, because Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez, Max Holloway is gonna fucking win. 269. Amanda Nunes, Jorge Masvidal, and Leon Edwards. We're not even there yet. We're not talking about that.
But
We're not talking about that.
You can't bet on that yet.
You can't?
You can't bet on Max Holloway yet either.
You should be able to bet on Max Holloway. Anyway. I don't want to bet on Poirier Oliveira in any way. I don't know who the fuck's going to win. If you put a gun in my head, I'm going to say Poirier.
Yeah.
But, I'm not fucking confident. All right. What was I just looking up? I was looking up.
Is Alex Pereira?
I'm not touching Alex Pereira. If you want to,
I'm gonna touch him.
Give him the old tappy tap.
Tappy tap. Yeah, I'm gonna. I think Ally Quinta. Lock.
Ally Quinta. You
I'm
think
never
Ally
betting
Quinta?
against a champion making his rise back up, dude.
Ally Quinta
No
was
way.
never a champion.
He was never a champion.
No. There was an
I
was an interim belt between when Tony Ferguson was hurt between Khabib and Iaquinta.
Okay.
And to tell you the truth, Iaquinta might have given Khabib the toughest matchup Khabib's ever had. He went 5 rounds with Khabib to a decision.
Yeah.
That being said, he's fighting Bobby Green, and Bobby Green's no slouch.
No slouch, but I've watched him fight for the past year. He's had a lot of fights, and
So he lost to Rafael Fiziev. That's a good name. He lost to Thiago Moises.
The record kind of speaks for itself. I mean, Thiago Moises, top 15, top 10 guy at one time, but he's not even ranked anymore.
Right. He's lost to some decent people. Iaquinta, Bobby Green. I'm honestly going to give it to Iaquinta, but I don't
think that's a
put it on
lot.
the pod.
I think that's a lot. I think
we can. I'm definitely interested in talking more about it, but for right now, I want to see what else we have on there for a pod bet.
Though.
Right. All right, here we go. Main card time. Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera.
What is the number on Ally Quinta though? Because if it's in the -1, 1.5 unit, worth it. He's the underdog.
Ally Quinta. Yeah.
Why is that?
I have no idea. Like I said, I really haven't followed either of these guys too much.
I followed Bobby Green. I haven't followed Ally Quinta, but can you go to Ally Quinta's last couple?
Yeah, we just looked at it.
Did we?
Yeah.
What was it? What was his last couple fights? Has he lost? Has he won?
Lost to Dan Hooker, Donald Cerrone, beat Kevin Lee, lost to Khabib. Before that, he was on a tear.
Donald Cerrone in 2019. That's.
Well, he hasn't fought
the
since
unanimous
2019.
decision.
It's been 2 years since Ally Quinta's fought.
And he just fought. He last unanimous versus Kevin Lee, and Kevin Lee just freaking got dropped, or not dropped. He just dropped out of the fight again, and he's not even in that division.
He got popped for Adderall.
Yeah, because he didn't do this interview or sign a paper or something.
Yeah, Bobby Green, who's lost his last 2 fights. August 2021 lost to Fiziev. October of last year he lost to Thiago Moises, which isn't crazy good, but it's.
I mean, a win against Clay Guida. I mean,
right.
I mean, they're no namers. I'm gonna go with Ally.
Here's something interesting to look at. Bobby Green's. Wow. All right, so in his last 10 fights, he's 4-6. Every single fight has gone to decision. In his last 10 fights.
Okay.
Ally Quinta hasn't fought again in the last 2 years, but his last 4 fights against Khabib, Kevin Lee, Donald Cerrone, Dan Hooker have all been by decision. Including 3 5-round fights. So I would take the over in this fight. That's something to look at. And we still do have to look at the over-unders in those.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteeing the over is going to be 2.5, although I can't guarantee that. But I'm guessing
1.5, dude. I will hammer that. That might be a single bet lock. Hammer. Just bring it to the bank. Yeah, I mean, the over unders, over 2.5 in Blackwich Texera. Oof. Over.
Say again.
Over 2.5. Teixeira Blackowitz.
I'm going to take the over on that.
I think over as well.
You want to write that?
Where, over here?
Yeah.
Over, under. 2.5. I don't know. There's not really a lot of room.
We can fill it out after.
Yeah.
All right. Frankie Edgar, Marlon Vera. What do you got? I know you like Marlon Vera. Not in this fight. I know you like Marlon Vera.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm absolutely taking Frankie Edgar.
He's on the come up. I mean, yeah, you get lucky on what's his face,
O'Malley.
Sean O'Malley, maybe.
So Frankie Edgar's 40. Marlon Vera's 28. Marlon Vera has a 2.5-inch reach advantage as well. Frankie Edgar is on a 2-fight losing. He's on a 1-fight losing streak. He lost to Corey Sandhagen. He beat Pedro Munoz by split decision, and then he lost to Chan Sung Jung and Max Holloway. He also lost to Brian Ortega in 2018. So he lost to the top 4 contenders.
I'm gonna go Frankie Edgar, dude.
I'm absolutely taking Frankie Edgar. Marlon Vera, he beat Davey
impressive.
Grant in his last fight.
The loss record's impressive.
That is one that I want to put on the pod bet. I definitely like Frankie Edgar. I don't know his odds, but
he's
definitely
he's the underdog.
Okay, then yeah, I definitely want to put that on the pod bet. Shane Burgos, Billy Quarantillo, we both got Burgos.
Yeah, that's on the fucking pod bet.
Okay.
That's on the pod bet. I don't know about Edgar, dude.
Alright. It's fine, we can talk about it.
I don't know, we can definitely talk about it.
And then here we go. We've talked about this. I said last week that this is the best back-to-back-to-back fights we're going to see all year.
Not even second
Justin
guessing
Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. We both have Gaethje.
I'm not even second guessing it, bro. And the numbers juicy as fuck. And
is Gaethje
it's been
the
proven
favorite?
that Chandler weak chin.
Is Gaethje the favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weak chin.
You could say that. I mean, it took one shot from Charles Oliveira to knock him down.
A
And then
weakened, stumbly
Right.
Charles Oliveira.
Right. Not to discredit Charles Oliveira.
No. Kudos to you, buddy.
All right. This one, I'm telling you right now, I don't want on the pod bet.
No.
Namajunas and Zhang. I'll say this, though. We can throw the over possibly because the first fight was finished so quickly. I want to say that this fight's over-under will probably be lower than what it should be.
Yeah. Do we? Okay. Do we stick to just doing
Money lines?
money lines?
I don't think so. We had an
No,
over-under in the last pod bet and it hit. We had Blades.
Yeah, we were
Rosenstrike.
sweating our ass off.
Did we fucking get it? Didn't we? It fucking worked.
Yeah. That's not a lock. You got.
I got Wiley Zhang. Exactly. That's why I don't want it on the pod bet. I know you got Rose.
But it wasn't. I know we discussed this, and the only reason why I'm even hesitant is because was that head kick lucky? What happens if that head kick don't happen? Does Wiley Zhang take her to the ground and have her way with her?
Here's the thing. I think Rose is better on the ground. That being said, I think Wiley Zhang's better standing. Rose has good boxing. Rose has good boxing, but Wiley Zhang is tough as fuck. Which is why I think that the head kick was lucky in one perspective, in that Wiley Zhang just wasn't expecting to get a head kick there. But I do think that Rose has great kicks, and I think stand-up Rose is really, really good. But I don't think Wiley Zhang gets knocked out a second time. That's why I'm saying Wiley Zhang wins. Because in a 5-round fight, I like Wiley Zhang as far as cardio, and I like her as far as just points and landing more strikes. If this fight gets finished, I think Rose might take it, but I think it's going to go to a decision, and so I definitely like Zhang.
Rose. Namajunas. Thug.
Okay.
Thug Rose.
And then this is definitely on the pod bet. Kamaru Usman. 100% on the pod bet. You got to do it.
If he wins.
If Colby fucking wins,
Not even second guessing it.
No. I kind of want to. I kind of want to say like maybe Colby could. No. Kamaru Usman's gonna win.
No. We are thinking similar on this.
All right,
But
can I bring up a very interesting point real quick? The three people that you picked, I mean, besides me picking Zhang, Usman, Namajunas, and Gaethje all train in Colorado under Trevor Whitman, right?
That's why they.
Do you know who the other top contender in the UFC is that trains under Trevor Whitman is? Do you know?
Hang on.
Do you know who it is?
Well, I know he trains with Tevin Holland. Is it John Jones?
No.
Not anymore.
No, John Jones is at John Winklejohn.
Oh, that's what it is. Adesanya.
He's on this board right now.
Is he?
Yes.
Just tell me.
Corey Sandhagen. I don't want to pick Sandhagen. I just say it's pretty fucking interesting. It's kind of a cool shout. Does that make you think about it? Does it? It does, right?
Yeah, I'm a big Trevor Whitman fan.
Right.
I am.
Right. Best striking coach in the world.
Against the best boxer in the UFC?
Yeah, I wouldn't call Pure. He's up there. I wouldn't call him the best boxer.
No, that's what he calls himself.
He's a master of the sport of boxing.
Yeah,
right.
Best boxer in the UFC.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break while we mull over the pod bet. We will be right back. Go check out MMA Complete Podcast on YouTube. Go follow fansonlysports.com and Fans Only Sports on Twitter. Go follow us on Twitter at complete_MMA and check us out every Thursday night at 7 p.m. We're also going to be doing live streams for UFC 267 and 268. UFC 267 live stream will start at 11 a.m. this Saturday, October 30th. UFC 268's live stream will start at 10 p.m. We'll be right back with the pod bet confirmed, hopefully.
And boom.
So UFC 268 over-unders aren't listed on RI Sportsbook, but we do have 267s, and there are a couple ones that I am intrigued by. First of all,
I should keep this so we have the numbers out, and I'll just show you so we can...
Ankalaev Ozdemir, 2.5.
Ankalaev Ozdemir.
2.5.
It's the one under that I like.
Yeah, no, I like the under.
Yeah, and it's favorited. The under's favorited.
All right, so we'll throw that up there.
I don't know about a lock, but...
No. Ribas Jandiroba, I like the over.
It's 2.5, and it's big. It's minus 2.5 units almost, right, minus 2.3 units, if you know what that means.
So, I mean, do you like the under? Jandiroba won her last fight by knockout. I haven't checked Amanda Ribas.
I mean, Amanda Ribas is kind of a beast, dude. She works fast.
Amanda Ribas was knocked out in her last fight by Marina Rodriguez, and she armbarred Paige Van Zandt in the first round. So she's actually... Both of these fighters have had finishes in their last couple fights.
Yeah. I'm going to...
Maybe we don't touch that over-under then.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm good with that. Blachowicz Teixeira, 2.5. I'll take the over.
Take the over too, but I'm not confident in it. If Blachowicz catches a right hook on an old man.
Jan Sandhagen, 4.5. My gut's saying
All right,
under.
I really like the over 2.5 in Teixeira Blachowicz. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. My gut's saying under for Jan Sandhagen, but I'm not confident in it.
saying under as well.
Yeah.
It's they could easily both get finished. So yeah, under.
Makachev Hooker, 2.5.
Over. Makachev takes him to the ground.
I'm gonna say over 2, but I'm not confident in that. Volkov Tibura. That one's tough. That one I'm not touching. I don't know, because they're heavyweights, they can knock each other out, but I also think that this goes to a decision.
They're fighting early.
Neither of them are really
3
wrestlers.
o'clock.
Neither of them are really wrestlers, which makes me think that it's not really...
It's a toss-up. I'm going to go under for heavyweight purposes.
Right.
I'm going under.
See, I would probably say the over.
Why, though? Like, do you think Tibura wins
Because
by
neither
decision?
of these guys are really wrestlers. So I don't think that they will, fuck them up. And Volkov is more of a point striker because of his reach. But his reach isn't really that much of a factor because Tibura has good reach for his size. Volkov usually has a 4 or 5 inch reach advantage, and he only has 2 inches in this fight. Marcin Tibura has won his last 4 fights. He's fought a lot of knockout artists. He hasn't gotten knocked out, obviously. So, I don't know. That fight I don't want to touch at all. Because anything could happen in that fight, honestly.
I'm touching it.
Right.
I like the +2, the money.
All right. So for 267.
The money line.
For 267, we like Amanda Ribas money line.
To a check.
We like Makachev underline.
Yeah.
I'm underlining the ones that we like. Okay.
Boom.
And we like Jan money line. I am not questioning it. We've said Jan this entire time. Sandhagen is absolutely a motherfucker, but Jan is really, really good. We also like the over in Blachowicz Teixeira. No?
On the pod bet, yeah.
Maybe.
You don't think? All right.
I'm trying to narrow it down so we can make the pod bet
Okay,
4.
so you don't think?
We could also.
I just said I really like it, but in 2.5 rounds, you don't think Blachowicz could get in, nice right hook?
Yeah, of course he could. I don't think it's going to happen in the first 2 rounds, though.
You think you want to stand back? How long did it take for Adesanya? How long did he go with
Decision.
It was a decision?
5 rounds.
He just took him to the ground, huh?
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to go to the ground.
No, Blachowicz definitely doesn't want to. I mean, he could go for a takedown. I wouldn't be shocked. I think
we're fucking thinking that over. We're thinking that 2.5 over if we want to split that out. Well, okay.
All right.
This is interesting.
So we have a lot of same people, but I'm only taking the ones we are sure about, right?
Burgos.
Yeah, I'm good with taking Burgos. And then, are we going to take Edgar?
You really know, man.
No.
What would the number be?
Who cares? Don't think about the
I
number.
know.
Just think about what's going to happen.
I know, no number. What I think is going to happen. I would really like to watch Vera's last fight or two to see like how he is.
So he lost to Jose Aldo, and then he beat Davey Grant. Davey Grant's not ranked. Jose Aldo's obviously top 4.
Okay, now Frankie Edgar. Now compare Frankie Edgar to Jose Aldo. Not thinking numbers.
Frankie Edgar is smaller, probably quicker. Frankie Edgar might be better on the ground.
Quicker is kind of a stretch because we just saw Jose Aldo's last fight and he looked fucking good.
Right.
So I don't know if he's quicker. Does he use the legs, kicks? Does he take? Yeah. Does he take people to the ground?
Frankie will. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna see it go to the ground that much. Honestly, Frankie can hold his own on the ground for sure, but he stands up. He's kind of like Aldo.
Yeah.
Like he's capable on the ground, but he doesn't go to it too much.
So we're gonna sweat.
So we can wait on Edgar.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to put Gaethje on, man. I don't know.
Well,
we're putting
the obvious.
We're putting the
obvious
on the pod, man. 100%.
Let's just get the obvious out of the way.
It really sucks that we don't have over-unders for 268 yet because I feel like there's a lot of overs I would take on this card. I would take the over on Aykut Green, Edgar Vera, Burgos Quarantillo, and Namajunas Shang. Yeah. I think those are all going to decision. Dude. So right now for a pod bet, we have Piotr Jan, Islam Makhachev, Amanda Ribas, Kamaru Usman, and Shane Burgos. Do you want to put that in real quick to just see what that parlay is?
Are we thinking about numbers or are we thinking about possibilities here with that?
Well, that's what we have. We're definitely putting those on the pod bet. I'm good with putting all 5 of those on the pod bet.
Ribas. Jan. Over.
I don't want to do the over just yet.
No, we're putting it on there. We've chosen it. Am I right?
We're going to do a six thing parlay. We could do parlays on both cards and a combined parlay. We could put a lot of money down this weekend.
On there? Are we sweating the minus?
Yes, we're putting Makhachev on there.
We're putting the over on there.
That's the one if we're combining them, I don't think we should.
So take the over 2.5 off on.
Yeah. And then 268 Burgos and Usman.
Yeah, it's not even like. Yeah, what the fuck? It's not changing the.
Follow us on Twitter to see the actual odds on the pod bet that we do decide on at the end of the podcast.
Hang on, it was glitching out. It wasn't changing the. Here we go. Maybe it'll work now. Okay, so we got Ribas. Boom. Usman. That's not bad.
Makhachev and Jan, did you put on too?
Yeah.
No, it's not bad at all.
Now, it's not bad. I kind of like that.
It's not bad at all.
Now, that might be. Can we do a? Are we doing a couple pod bets?
Yes, I want to do a pod bet on each.
Can this be one pod bet?
Yeah.
Okay, lock it up.
Yeah. No,
lock this up. Should we write it somewhere? Get rid of Shabazian. We don't need Shabazian there.
I'm just gonna write it down.
Right here, real quick. Just put Jan.
I got it.
Okay. All right, and we'll build off that a little bit.
Now, do you want to do one for each card as well?
For each card, yeah.
Usman, Burgos, Jan, Makhachev, and Ribas. That's the first one. Okay. 267. Jan, Makhachev, Ribas.
Over 2.5 Blachowicz. Are we doing that?
Yep.
On this card? This is the pod bet for this card.
Right.
The over 2.5.
Right.
Okay.
And then do you want to add anything else to it? We don't have to.
No, but I really think I want us to make one with Tabura in it. So I don't know if you want to add Tabura in one in parentheses or if you want to.
Here's my thing. I want to add a pod. I'm down to do that, but let's do a pod bet that we have Tabura where we don't have that over. Because for me, those are the two shakiest. And if we put them both on the same parlay, one of them probably isn't going to hit. You know what I mean?
Okay, so let's do one without the over. The over 2.5 on then. So
we'll just call that. I mean, they're both getting these three, and then we can do parlays with both of those.
So you want to take the over 2.5 and put the Burra on there?
No, this is two different pods. This is two different bets. Like we're taking those three, and then we're either taking Tabura or the over.
Okay. So what do we? Okay.
The over for Makachev Hooker. Do we want to throw that in there?
If we're sweating, yeah. I think we should. I should put that in parentheses. Put that. Or just put like a line or put it in a box or something. But yeah, I think we should. I think we could build off that. It's tough picking. Like, I might take like Jan off one and put like maybe like an over, because just like faith wise, like you never fucking know. Like if a flying knee is gonna hit a flying knee or something.
If a flying knee is gonna hit a flying knee,
or you know what I mean? Like,
all right, 268 real quick.
All right, 268. Usman, Burgos.
Which are you more confident in? Justin Gaethje or Frankie Edgar?
More confident in Gaethje. I really am. I know you're more confident in Edgar, but
I wouldn't say that
I
I'm
would
more
put
confident
both
either.
On there. Fuck it. I mean, you know,
And do we want to put Shabazi in? Now, see, this one, the 268 pod bet, we're going to wait on.
Yeah.
Because we might get overs next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we do get overs, Iaquinta Green over, I'm definitely taking. Definitely taking. We just saw Bobby Green's last 10 fights have been a decision. The last 5 fights have Iaquinta been a decision.
Who's winning?
Iaquinta.
That fucking decision.
Iaquinta. I think so.
All right, so we're hammering. All right. Iaquinta. Put it on the bet. Put it on the bet then.
You want to?
If you're that confident he's winning by decision,
I'm not that confident
that
he's winning by decision.
You're confident in the over 2.5.
Yes, I'm confident it's going to a decision.
Okay.
I'm not confident in either one of them that much.
Put the over 2.5 on there. We don't know what it is, but we know it's going to be over 2.5. We just don't know what. It sucks that we can't see what the numbers would be on there with it, but.
And then I would throw Shabazian on, man. I would. I really would. Plus, he's the underdog.
On a pod bet?
Mm-hmm.
On a lock?
Mm.
That's what I mean. Like, I think he's going to win too, but I don't lock him up.
All right, so maybe not on the pod bet, but I would throw Usman, Burgos, and Shabazian as a single bet. You know what I'm saying?
Say that again?
I would throw Usman, Burgos, and Shabazian as a 3-team parlay. Because you know Usman and Burgos is going to hit, and then Shabazian just adds to it.
I like that bet. Yeah, that's a good bet. I like. We can do a lot of betting in this card because we're seeing right. This one's iffy because we're always back and forth. This one we're seeing right, so this one's dangerous. Both of these are underdogs.
Quinta and Edgar.
All three of these are underdogs. There's not a lot of cards when all the favorites win, dude. You know what I mean? So it's like, how long is that going to be caught up? Like, there could be a big upset in this card. That's what I'm scared of, is a big upset. Like, Sanhagen and Jan. I mean, shit, man. Fuck. Burgos. Usman. Edgar. And the over 2.5.
Which over?
For a Quinta green. Usman, Burgos, Edgar, and the over.
All right. At this point, we're just gonna make 20 different bets. You know what I mean? At this point, we got our pod bets.
Oh yeah,
for each card.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we could probably end it here because we are at 8:00.
Okay.
And just go over everything else we want to do because we still got to do methods too. You know what I mean?
I know, that's what I mean.
I'm sprinkling on Teixeira by sub and Blackwitch by knockout. I'm sprinkling on Makhachev by decision. I'm sprinkling on Kamaev by knockout. I'm sprinkling on Ankalaev by decision. Like, I'm going on. There's a lot of methods I like.
I like Makhachev by submission. Yeah. I like Makhachev by submission or decision.
All right. And I like Burgos by decision. I like Gaethje by knockout.
Kamaev by knockout.
I like Zhang by decision. I like Usman by decision. Shabazian by knockout. I'm gonna put a lot of money on these two cards. I think we got it. We just hit big on the last one. All right, so that's gonna do
that
it.
money's gone for me, bro.
That's gonna do it for MMA Complete Podcast, episode 70. Run it up real quick again. Pod bet for both cards. We have Kamaru Usman, Shane Burgos, Petr Yan, Islam Makhachev, and Amanda Ribas. For 267, we have Petr Yan, Islam Makhachev, Amanda Ribas. We have the over between Makhachev and Hooker. And then we also like Marcin Tybura and the over of the main event, Blackwitch Teixeira. 268, we have Kamaru Usman, Shane Burgos, Justin Gaethje, and Quinta versus Green. Shout out to Edmund Shabazian sprinkling in there as well.
Yeah.
We kind of went over the methods. Most methods you're going to see are pretty obvious.
Blackwitch by knockout, that's what I'm going with. I'm not sprinkling on Teixeira. Jan.
I'm not going to go for a method on that because I think any of them could happen besides submission. I think that either guy could knock each other out, but I think it'll go to decision, so I'm not going to touch
Jan by decision.
All right, so that's going to do it for episode 70. Make sure you join us this Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time for UFC 267.
What time?
11 a.m.
Oh, I thought you said 7. I was like, holy shit.
267 prelims start at 10:30. We're going to go live at 11. So make sure you check us out for that. We're going to be live again next Thursday at 7 o'clock, as we do every Thursday at 7. And then UFC 268 live stream will be at 10 o'clock, roughly Eastern Standard Time next week. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Make sure you follow us on Twitter to see the actual odds of the bets that we place for UFC 267 and 268 and the pod bets.
Yeah, we'll take a picture and post it on Twitter.
And go follow us on our YouTube MMA Complete Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and good luck on your bets. Good luck. We got this. Have a good night.
Heating up.
See you guys on Saturday.
I'm on a heater, by the way.